Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Unboxed. Let's stick around today as we unbox the Black family. I'm Dr. Robert Davis, family life educator and relationship coach, and welcome to Unboxed, a frank and straightforward conversation about relationships. We're going to talk about family, church, workplace, and all other types of relationships. Join me for the next few moments as we unbox the power and potential of relationships and help you to live your best life. Hello, everyone, and welcome again to Unboxed. I'm your host, Dr. Robert Davis. So glad that you're joining us today. We are continuing to explore the Black family. But before we do that, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. And also visit our website so you can learn more about what Unboxed is doing in the community, how it can be a benefit to your organization, your church, or your business. And also, please make sure that you go into our description so you can find ways to partner with Unboxing to support the work that we're doing. Okay, let me go ahead and get started. We just finished this virtual book club on the book Seasoned with Grace, God's Recipe for Healthy Family Communication. In this book, we discussed the African-American family, and we talked about how communication improves the African-American family. We're going to get back to that again. But last night, I began having a conversation with you about how important it is for us to know our family tree. As African Americans, we have to know our family tree. This is vitally important. And so I gave you some insight last night about what you do in order to learn more about your family tree. And one of the things we talked about was just getting to know all of their family members and starting to do that research. We call it family research. And the reason why this type of family research is so important is because it really does help you to know where you come from, how your emotional computer was pre-programmed, but most of all, it helps to identify the great resiliency that is the African-American family. There is no family on earth that I can think of or that I've been able to identify that has endured what the African-American family has endured and has been able to survive from generation to generation. As you identify that, it's going to really make you an awesome person. So I want to share with you a couple of ways that you can do this family research. As you begin to draw out your family tree, and just very simple, I'm going to encourage you to go back 3 generations. So you go back, to identify 3 generations. So you are generation 1. That's you, your brothers and your sisters, etc. Everyone along that line, your cousins, everything. That's generation 1. Above that is generation 2, which is your mother, your father, and your uncles and aunts that are your mother and father's siblings. That's generation 2. The 3rd generation is your grandparents, which means your great aunts and your great uncles. Try your best to identify those 3 generations. That's how you're going to start off with, because it's so important for you to know your family. In order for families, especially Black families, to become healthier, we really do have to know where we've come from, know what obstacles we've already overcome. You know, sometimes when we talk about the Black family, we quote statistics, which are true. You know, that 70% of African-American children are born to single-parent homes. That is 100% true. That's a fact. But the truth of the matter is that even with those challenges, we still have so much resilience, and we've still overcome so much. So the bigger picture is not what we have had to endure as much as what we have overcome through our endurance. I'm going to say that again. The big picture is not what we've had to endure, but rather what we've overcome through our endurance. And so my friend Richard Veer says, I am not African American. And that's a whole lot of people in this world who fall into that category. But whether you're African American or not, I'm talking specifically to African Americans, but everyone should know their family history. It is important for everyone to learn their family history and to identify. And I'm going to give you some stuff that I think you ought to identify. So you can do some research on your own to learn about 2 concepts. One is called a genogram. The other is called a family diagram. They look very similar, but they have 2 different purposes. I'm not going to get into all the specifics of that tonight, but you can learn how to do your family genogram. and you can learn how to do a family diagram. I personally subscribe to the family diagram versus the family genogram, but for what we're doing right here, it's not a big issue. Whichever one you connect with as you go through and research, if they use the same symbols, it has the same concept, you can go ahead and jump into it and start to do your family research. You want to think about it as someone who is doing a research project. One of the reasons, as I shared before, is you want to know your family history so that you can know how you were pre-programmed. All of us come into this world with certain data already on our computer, our emotional and mental computer. And it's good to know where all of that information came from so that you can begin. And this is where the difference between a genogram and a family diagram, the biggest difference, is that a genogram tries to identify where various dysfunctional behaviors arise within a family. A family diagram just tries to identify how the family functions as a whole. So it's not necessarily looking for where problems arose and challenges or dysfunction, but just how the family functions as a whole, so that you can really, but both of them, whichever one you look at, will help you to be able, whether it's a family diagram or a genogram, a family diagram or a genogram, they really are very, very, very similar. And both of them will help you to identify the resilience of your family, as well as the challenges, which will really help you to be able to understand how your emotional and mental computer was pre-programmed before the day you were ever born. So I'm going to share a few things with you to help to draw that in, and then we're going to come back here tomorrow night. And I want to read this. This is from a very deep thinker, one of the most brilliant men that I've ever met. His name is Robert Davis. And this is what Robert Davis said. Robert Davis said, families are multidimensional with complex histories, experiences, traumatic events, and social realities that help to shape how they function, view the world, understand relationships, and bond intergenerationally as well as transgenerationally. It is not our job to judge our family or previous generations. Catch this now. Our most productive venture would be to study the generational formation and functioning of our families with an eye toward understanding ourselves, improving our emotional maturity, and becoming clear about the type of self we desire to be and the legacy that we want to leave future generations. So it's very important that we understand who our family is to help us to understand who we are. So I just gave you two tools. You can Google them. There's so much resources on the internet to help you to be able to do that research. The tools are Genogram. You can do research on what a genogram is and how to do one for your family. The other tool, which is almost identical, if you can do a genogram, you can do a family diagram. If you use a family diagram, you can do a genogram. They're so very much the same. So use one of those two tools to begin flushing out your family tree. And I'm going to come back here next time and talk with you about the various questions that you should be asking yourself as you are writing this genogram. These questions are going to help you to understand how your computer was pre-programmed. Wow. Well, I'm so glad that you chose to be with us tonight. I'm excited to have you, and I look forward to seeing you again as we continue to talk about the Black family and building the Black family. Until we meet again, may you have a wonderful night, and may you continue to unbox all the power and the potential of relationships. Take care.
Seasoned with Grace, UnBoxed also provides healthy relationship training and leadership development for businesses, churches, and community organizations. For a free consultation to discuss your team's needs, please contact us at our website at swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org.